When I was trying to sort out the films I really wanted to see this year at TIFF, this was one of them, and it did not let down. So, yep, we're ready to jump into my review of the film Lakewood. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the film Lakewood, which is a part of the Gala Presentations category this year at Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF 2021. And yeah, folks, this film did not let down. It was amazing, and I love a good psychological thriller, and this one gave you all that and more. Naomi Watts, who plays Amy Carr, first of all, her performance is really good. Besides one thing, and I get it. Like, I understand that in doing this role that it had to been a lot of running for her. But there was some times where she was running, and I was just like, oh, she just looks like she's hurting. I don't know. Like, she did. I'll come back to this, but she did obviously get an injury. With the character, Amy got an injury while running, but like sometimes when she was running, I was just like, man, the form is just off. The form is just way off. Like, she's training herself, being so tight in her running. As somebody that used to run in high school, I know a little bit about that, but I guess maybe I was having a little bit of flashbacks of being yelled at about my form or whatnot, but that's no here nor there. That doesn't take away from the film. Amy Carr, she plays, Naomi Watts plays this character, Amy Carr, who one morning, as any other morning I would assume, she decides that she's going to go for a jog. Upon leaving, her daughter goes to school, but her son, he's suffering. Her husband had recently passed, so the son is grieving hard. He's, in bed. It's to be determined if he's going to go to school for the day, because it's hard for him. He's really suffering. You can see the depression all over his face. She wants him to go to school, but she doesn't really forces him. So that's that. Nonetheless, she goes out for a run, and which was just going to be a typical morning for her, actually being way worse. Soon to find out that there's something going on in town. A bunch of cops are zooming past her as she's running, and she's like, what's happening? And she finds out that there is an active shooter in Lakewood. And then they, narrow it down to this in school. And then they narrow it down that it is in her son's school. So her daughter's safe, but her son is the one she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't even know if he went to school. So she doesn't know if he went to school. She doesn't know if he's home. And then she doesn't know if he's at school, if he's hurt, if he's safe, or if he's the shooter. And she's a mom who's about an hour away on foot because she doesn't have transportation, or even trying to get to where the school or the safe zones at where parents can pick up their kids. So it's a lot, and this film wasted no time with the drama. Things got to going pretty quick, and this film is super stressful because while she's discovering things while she's running, she's getting phone call after phone call after phone call. I mean, she gets 1,000 calls. And while she's getting 1,000 calls, she also has to make 1,000 calls. So, so much is happening. I'm just stressed out as a viewer watching her continuously happen to be on the phone. Like, what's happening? What's happening? One call to the next, and it's just a lot. And she's getting bits of information from wherever she can. So it's a lot. And I gotta tell you that beyond her trying to discover what's going on, if she had not had any bit of sense of direction, that would have just made things worse, because she's in the woods here, and she's trying to figure out the quickest route on foot to get to the school, and she's using her phone to the utmost capability, using the GPS and using directions on the compass to get to the place she has to get. And I gotta tell you again, if she did not have a sense of direction, it would have been even worse. And a lot of the times I found myself kind of yelling at the screen, like, girl, you gotta do this. And that was so engaging. Yeah, I was yelling, I was rooting, I was cheering. It's just, it really brought out a bunch of different emotions from you upon watching it. But it was a really good film with a roller coaster of emotions, ups and downs, and again, she sustained the injury while jogging, so it's only putting more time on there on her being able to get there. She's trying to seek help. No one's able to help her. She's trying to get an Uber. Uber can't find her. Like, so much is happening. But at the same time, you know, she's in investigative mode. Like, she's like trying to piece together what's happening at the school. Like, trying to do the cops' job while she's trying to get there. She's doing so much. That's why it's just so stressful. And man, once she like takes on that tactic from just being like a parent trying to get to her kid to her being the investigator of the case, like the film goes into like another gear, and that's good. It picks up even more. So this film was on throttle the entire time. And again, you know, Naomi Watts' performance, so good. And you know, you're absolutely rooting for her, but she's going through a lot. The son, you know, you're rooting for him, and he's dealing with, you know, grief, trauma, and both of them, by one being in the school, by one trying to get to the school. And then as the viewer, you don't even know like if the son is actually a victim or if he's actually the shooter. And it's, you know, it puts you at the edge of your seat, you trying to determine what's going to happen. And I gotta say, truly, the catalyst of this film, like what's making the success of the film, is it's really about the phone calls. Like that really brings like a extra level of stress. And then like her just journeying through the woods trying to get to her kids, like that being the premise of what's happening, and like that's an adventure in its own. The score was just amazing. Like it was so on point. Every scene that it needed to be was so on point. And I'll say this, like the ending of the film, I was teared up. Because like, although I'm not a parent, you know, you just see the levels of desperation a parent would go through in order to protect their cubs. And, you know, seeing that she would go to no end in order to get the answers she need. And it's crazy. It's an adventure. This is a fantastic film, and there's a really good message through the credits as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I don't want to give you the ending here, but you want to make sure that you stay all the way through, because amongst everything, when you're talking about after shooters and whatnot, there's a really good message behind that. But I can't tell you like exactly how everything, you know, kind of plays out. But I will say you will be on a ride the entire time. But folks, this is Lakewood. Totally check this film out. Jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.